Ambassador Kelin, welcome back to Roundtable. We really appreciate your time today. Tell me, President Trump has said that he is thinking about giving long-distance Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, which will be capable of striking Moscow. What is the Russian reaction to this?
We do not yet have a complete reaction because we do not know what will be the decision of President Trump. He is playing a new card in this political game. What I can say about these cruise missiles, we know it since I would say, end of 80s during the strategic talks negotiations, and we know this system perfectly, and we know how to deal with it. The missile itself, if it will be given to the Ukrainians, this is not a big thing, but different is if it will be launchers, if it will be preparation for launching, because the whole process will definitely involve Americans, and this is a very serious escalation. Besides, this type of a missile has been also done in a nuclear variant, so you cannot tell whether it is nuclear or conventional one. So that is, it will not be a game changer, definitely, since the quantity of this missile will be small. It will not change the situation in the battlefield, but of course we will have to react very seriously towards this escalation and towards direct involvement of American military people into the process of launching them.
Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesperson, says this is a very dramatic moment, what Trump has said, and he says tensions are escalating. Dmitry Medvedev says that the delivery of this missile could end badly for everyone, and most of all for Trump himself. So you're taking this very seriously.
Yes, we do. We follow what is being said in the White House by different spokesmen. We still do not understand the aim and the goal of this eventual transition or non-transition. We should better understand what is the intention, since everybody is saying that there is no intention to escalate. But it is definitely, of course, as I have said, will mean very new level of escalation of it.
What would be the Russian response if a Tomahawk missile were fired?
Hypothetical discussion.
But you must have an idea, Ambassador.
I will not go into that. I will just orient. It will not improve the situation, neither on the battlefield nor in political sense. But I can imagine that the mediation efforts will be now, I would say, set aside, but it will be a new picture new political picture on the table, which we will have to deal with.
If we go back to August, when President Putin traveled to Alaska to meet President Trump, there seemed to be momentum towards a ceasefire. There was a lot of positive talk. All that has gone away. It seems to have evaporated almost. Is that fair to say?
No, I don't think so. It's a question. What has happened in Alaska, it is still, well, let's put it like that. What we got in Alaska, that was a very good conversation between two presidents, and actually they have come to a certain joint vision of how conflict can be wrapped up in that sense. And there were some difficult things, there were some easy things, but anyway, a common vision is important on it. The way I understand it right now is that this common vision has been brought for attention of Ukrainian government, President Zelensky, and they rejected it. So now I wouldn't say that we will restart from the scratch, but we will have to continue these efforts. I can say that contacts continues on the working level in different ways, although we do not have a advancement in political process. Things are still on the battlefield being resolved. You know that we continue advancement. Every day we are keeping new villages, new square kilometers on the ground, and of course it's a slow process, but it continues.
So tell me, the Russian view is then that you are open to talks about peace still, but you will keep fighting until you get what you want.
We are not only open to talks, but we stand for diplomatic resolution of the conflict. But this resolution should be long term, should be resilient, should be strong, involved. Our interests should be taken into account, and all neighboring countries. Immediate ceasefire, which will not bring a complete resolution to the problem, comprehensive solution, this is what we seek for, is needed. And most important is that this type of agreement should eliminate the grassroots of conflict when it has started.
So, Ambassador, do you think President Trump threatening to send Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine is removing the possibility of peace talks or damaging the possibility of a ceasefire?
We did heard in the recent years, in the recent months and years, and recently, quite a lot of threats pronounced by Europeans, pronounced by Americans as well. They cannot influence our policy. We have our goals. We have indicated what we would like to achieve in this way, and we just continue to struggle for our goals in order to reach them. And threats, they're unimportant in this. We are too big to listen to the threats.
So we're heading towards a 4th anniversary of the war in Ukraine now, and this was initially described as a special military operation that would be over in days. You still haven't reached your goals.
No, please do not mix things. When there were a phrase about some days, it was irrelevant to what is happening right now on the ground. Yes, we are moving further. I do not know when we will reach. There is no special momentum in time. There is no time limit to this. We still continue the process. This process will continue. Whether it will be over by the 4th anniversary of it, I do not know really.
And tell me, is President Putin genuinely interested in sitting down with President Zelensky and talking peace? 2 men, 2 presidents round the table.
Only in one situation. If an agreement, the way I have described it, comprehensive agreement, will be prepared, and they will have to resolve 1 or 2 or 3 issues. That's the way usually negotiations are being done. Then it will make sense. If President Zelensky wants just to have a photo opportunity to say, and then after that he will say, I said to President Putin everything what I think about it, then of course it doesn't make any sense, and we will abstain from that. So any meeting, let it be trilateral with President Trump or bilateral with Zelensky, it should be very carefully prepared, and it should bring results, serious results, which once and forever.
Do you accept that after nearly 4 years of war, neither side can win this? It seems to be a stalemate.
No, I don't believe a stalemate. It is the recent trend in the Western newspapers and UK newspapers is trying to single out some successes by Ukrainian army, but this is not correct because they are not providing the whole picture along the front lines, where we are making everyday advances and we have initiative of the whole long front line. This idea that Ukrainian has some local successes, it is just to raise some spirit in Ukraine, and especially among Europeans, so they will not abandon the efforts to continue to finance this war, to continue to provide armament, which is only prolongs makes it longer and continuation of the conflict. There's nothing else.
So if you look at the Russian economy, how long can you really keep fighting for?
Oh, we can continue. We can continue for years and years because we are self-sustained. We do not need outside assistance or help. The Russian economy is absolutely autonomous. Of course, we are a big trade partner with the others, but still, if you recall earlier declarations by the European Union that we are out of forces, that we have no chips, that we need refrigerators, chips to take from the refrigerators, this is nonsense. Now we are, in terms of armament, in terms of production of the armament, we do not need external assistance like Ukrainians do. We do not need finance. We have internally everything, all resources. here. Of course, nobody would like to have to continue it until now to 2035 or something else, but we have to achieve the goals that has been set up. Otherwise, there is not much of a sense in what has already been done and what we continue to do.
And as we head into another winter of war, what do you think needs to happen now for a ceasefire to be in place, say, before the turn of the year?
No, it's very easy. As soon as Ukrainians will be cut off of arms supply, the continued supply of armament and systems and all of that, I think that it will be just a matter of weeks. Perhaps months. They are totally depend on the outside supplies. And do not forget that we have now to deal with the whole NATO, not only with Ukraine. Why is it so slow or just does not bring immediate results? But we have to deal with the whole NATO, with the whole system. And this is a very mighty system. In fact, it has a lot of money, a lot of armament, a lot of habits how to wage the war. Otherwise, Ukrainians will surrender very quickly.
Ambassador, you mentioned NATO. That's a good point to talk about some drone incursions, allegedly Russian drones breaching Polish airspace. There were claims in Denmark and Norway that their airports were disrupted by drone activity, which people believe is linked to Russia. You were summoned in for a dressing down by the UK government over this. What's your take on the drone incursions?
Well, Andy, it makes sense only to discuss this episode relevant to Poland, because neither Norway nor Denmark, they did not provide any evidence that they were from time to time, as far as I recall, the Prime Minister of Denmark was mentioning that she does not exclude the Russian involvement into that, but there was no evidence, no characteristic of the drones that has been seen above the airfield over there, nothing else. But as for Poland, we do understand that these were unarmed drones called Herbera, and these are decoys. It is not a battlefield drones, decoys. As I had a chance to explain it already also to the Foreign Office, that these decoys, Herbera, they are numerous. They are just flying into Ukraine and then falling down. So you can assemble this type of drone.
So they are Russian drones, yeah? They're Russian drones.
The samples that we have seen and produced by the Polish people looks like, might be. But we suggested direct consultations by the specialists to Poland. They did not respond to our proposal. Instead of that, they turned to NATO once again, and this is senseless just to discuss it with the others, but not to discuss it with us. If they will be interested to do this with us, then we will provide the necessary explanation, because these drones cannot fly such a long distance in order to reach Poland from the Russian territory.
So what was the purpose of decoy drones flying into Polish airspace? Was it an accident, or was this deliberate provocation by Russia?
As I have said, there is no possibility that it flies from Russia into Poland because the distance is too long. But there is a possibility that it has been, this has been done by Ukrainian forces. They have a possibility to redirect this type of drones in a different
So you're saying that Ukrainian forces hijacked or jammed these drones to provoke a conflict?
Well, there are two possibilities. Either this is a product of jamming of the drones that were flying into direction of Ukraine, or there is a deliberate attempt by to make a provocation in order just to escalate, to give some oil on the flame in this, to warm it up and these discussions.
People in Poland are very concerned about Russian military activity, and given the history between what was the Soviet Union and Poland, do you think they're right to fear Russia? Polish people, are they right to fear Russian military activity?
As President Putin has repeatedly saying that we have no intention to attack any NATO countries. Unfortunately, his words are being missed in reporting about any event when he is saying like they do not hear it. They just pass it over their ears, and I understand why, because the current policy line cannot include this type of statements. The policy line of the European countries now, of NATO countries, is to rearm, to expect a threat from Russia, and they even put some timelines when Russia may make an attack against NATO countries. We don't have a single intention to do that. Our problem is Ukraine, of course, and of course the efforts to support Ukraine. We hear now that there are voices in Ukraine that let us make an immediate ceasefire, then get some 5 years more, and then once again to attack Russia. So that's the real intention, what some heads and some prominent figures in Kiev are thinking about. So they do not think about terminating it, about overall settlement and about peace with it. So we still hear very militant and aggressive voices over there.
But you do understand they want their land back. They want Donetsk, they want Luhansk, they want Crimea back.
These territories historically was always incorporated, was always part of Russia, and the desire to have it back. First, of course, it is impossible to think about it since it's part of Russian Federation accordance now with our constitution. So there will be no change in it.
Ambassador, going back to the drones, so you were summoned by the UK government. I've always been curious when an ambassador is brought in, if there's an incident, what did they say to you, or how did you react? Were you surprised?
Me? Surprised, or them? No, I just provide an explanation to them, and the way I'm doing it now to you, an explanation is clear, and I think that they have taken up this explanation. They have said that they, as I understand, they do not have any evidence or anything to back up this accusation of us. So it is just an incident, and one should not exaggerate the significance of the incident. The military activities is going on along very long border. It is 1,200, if I'm not mistaken, the border is, and of course things are flying here and there, and to some it seems to be dangerous. Of course, some would like to protect it against them. That is all. It is a concern, yes. There is a concern that it might happen. We deal it on a daily basis with Ukrainian drones, for instance.
Did they ask you to apologize?
I don't think so. To apologize for what? There was no damage. Actually, it is...
Well, someone's house got hit. One house in Poland did get hit by a drone.
This house it was a fallen anti-aircraft missile. The remnants of the anti-aircraft missile has fallen on this house, which has been demonstrated later on. Russian drones has nothing to do with this.
So tell me, Ambassador, just looking ahead to the next few weeks of the war, do you see any prospect for a ceasefire imminently?
I do see prospects of that our advancement will go quicker in a sense, of course, because there was a lot of preparation on the ground for serious advancement right now, and we are on the verge of, I do believe, another more serious military actions over there. As for the prospects on it, I do not know what will be the outcome of the meeting between Trump and Zelensky the coming Friday on it. But if it will be, that depends. If it will be an idea to reach peace, to intensify diplomatic efforts, we stand for it. If it will be an idea to escalate it, then things, of course, go in different direction.
Ambassador, can I ask for the Russian perspective on the Gaza peace deal? President Trump taking a lot of credit for himself. Russia not consulted, China not involved. It was mostly the United States, some Arab countries and some European countries involved. Did Russia try to be party to the agreement, or what's the Russian view?
Yeah, well, European countries were not involved in negotiations at all. That is, to be fair, on that side. And neither UK nor France did not participate in that. We were talking to Arab countries all the time. They are frequent visitors in Moscow. We are talking as well with Israel, and that is absolutely clear. The last conversation between Putin and Netanyahu was dated on the 7th of October, so a week ago. As for what has happened yesterday and today on the peace plan, we are supportive to that. We believe that it is probably the best peace plan that has been put on the table with regard to the Middle East in the recent years. But it is inconclusive, and in a sense that, well, there is a definite position by many countries that it should lead to creation of two-state solution, to creation of the real Palestinian state on it. It is not in the peace plan, what we are seeing right now, it is first phase that has been achieved. Of course, everybody is happy, as well as us, that hostilities, I mean not hostilities, but military action
has ceased.
Yeah. Hostages has been has returned to their houses, to their homes. It's a great achievement, certainly. But it's still a long way to follow.
So just to be clear, President Putin backs a two-state solution and believes in a Palestinian state.
For very many years we stand on that. It is. Mm-hmm.
While we're talking about peace deals, do you think President Trump genuinely can help deliver peace in Ukraine?
Yes, he does. I think that if he will be equally serious about achieving peace, not providing unilateral support to Ukraine, but we understand in talking to him, in my present talking to him and talking to American team, that they do have an understanding of the grassroots of conflict, and this is most important. When they talk, it is a conversation. This is not just an imposition of certain rules. He listened. I mean, President Trump. He makes his conclusion, and our understanding is that he understands. Our view is that he understands the situation much better than all his predecessors on this position, and the American team is interested in reaching solutions. As they say, well, if two big powers has agreement on certain issues, it is important to get a positive side of it, to work on that, to continue to. If we have disagreement, then it is not a confrontation. We should not go into confrontation. We should find a solution to this problem and to deal with it.
Ambassador, just one other issue in Europe I really want to get the Russian perspective on. There were elections recently in Moldova and Czechia, formerly the Czech Republic. There were allegations of electoral interference by Russia, social media, misinformation, pushing pro-Russian candidates. What's your view on those allegations?
We cannot accept these allegations, especially with regard to Moldova. I have never seen anything about Czech Republic that we got involved, but in Moldova it's a totally different thing, absolutely. It is topsy-turvy because European Union has thrown a lot of money to Moldova. First thing, the visitors from the European Union, all these visitors, they have of course played a role in it, in supporting current political parties, pro-European one. And then there was absolutely nonsense what concerns the electoral process over there, and it is well known. I think that in Russia, well, in Italy, 200 a polling station has been arranged over there, and there are not only a lot of Moldovans over there. In Russia, we do have there are different figures. There are perhaps 200 or 500,000 of Moldovan citizens, and only 2 polling stations has been arranged over there in the embassy and the consulate. That is all.
So just Ambassador, on the issue of the EU, do you have a problem with Moldova joining the European Union?
I hardly imagine that Moldova can join the European Union in the future, in the current future. It is the poorest country in Europe at all. If European Union is so interested in getting another poor country into it, it might be the case of distant future. But first of all, they have Balkan countries which stands in a row for many years over there. No, I think that it is most important for European Union was to support this political party that is losing its significance because of poor economical results, of many other things, and of course elections were distorted totally by pro-European.
So just to be clear, Ambassador, final point, you say there was no electoral interference by Russia in those elections?
I don't think so. Of course, there were lots of Russians over there. No, Russians are over there. Of course, there are some people who would like to put a spell on the pro-Russian parties. They do exist. There are communists, socialists, many others who do believe that good relations with Russia is the key to a resolution of the economic problems in Moldova. So country is split, I would say, nearly 50 to 50%. But distortion of elections, it's a very bad thing on the part of the European Union.
Ambassador Kelin, thanks for joining me on Roundtable today. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you.